My UI senses are starting to pick up a little bit here. It's been some time since my last video. I feel like it's time to come out with another video right now talking about what I feel is going to happen, which we should see a nice mini bull run right here on the QQQ and the SPY. Um, for the past week or so, we had a nasty, very nasty sideways trend going into FOMC after the drawdown that led us below major support levels on the QQQs and SPY. So as we seen previously, previous week before, the Qs was really stuck below this this 480 level, while the SPY was actually tangling with the 572 levels, but pretty much has been uh really support levels in its 550 area. 552 was its low, but again it created this 550, 558, 559 base right here, along with creating another one at 560. So there were these very small incremental support levels on the SPY. We got the SPY here on the left, we have the QQQ right here on the right. um SPY actually being way more active, overly active, than we've seen before on this index. Way more active than the QQQ. We had way more wider swings on SPY, which I've actually taken advantage of. But if you guys paid attention to my last video, I was talking about it is going to be a struggle with breaking back up above these resistance levels and creating a support, which we now have a decent support on SPY above this 560 level, and a slight break above this 580 level, which actually scares me just a tad, because this could be like coming in March 24. The indexes could actually break back below, because 560 on SPY is actually a major support resistance level, and it's the exact same spot that we see here on QQQ with this 480 level. We had seen a swap between technology and communication services, financials, and consumer defense. Actually, I want to say consumer defense as well, because PLTR actually had a very nice week, actually holding above that 80 level, breaking back above that 80 level from hitting that 75 and going into the 90 levels. But we seen stocks like DTM actually also hold 90 levels. We seen OKLO hold that 27, the 27 level. And then going into the financials, we had HOOD holding that well above the 36, level, holding into the 40 range, and actually breaking back bullish above the weekly, which was the 41.88, and hitting into 44 to end out the week, which is very bullish in my book. I'm actually super long on HOOD. Again, speaking of the financial sector, UPST as well. UPST actually broke above its weekly, as previous week 51 levels. So again, that is bullish. We had seen a pretty much swap between technology and mainly financials this week, and that was keeping the indexes well balanced. But I cannot believe that financials, communication services, and that's with Meta, Google, we could actually see a decent run from them. But will that be enough to actually keep the indexes above these levels, the 480 as well as the 560 level for SPY? So this is what I'm like, again, this is what I'm wary about in this area here. But while it's here, it's going to be an ugly trade to the upside. While it's here, I'm going to take advantage of HOOD. I'm going to take advantage of UPST. I'm going to take advantage of UPST for that 54 gap, and then continuously trading back into the 60 range. I'm going to see if I can nail that, as well as HOOD again for that 60 range. Minimum 54 level again on HOOD. I've seen that they've kind of similar, had been in sync. So again, if we continue to see the Q struggle here around the 480 level, obviously we would see the likes of Nvidia. So this is Nvidia right here. Nvidia was again, you see the slight similarities here in the chart on an SPY and Nvidia. It's the same as it's the same here. I didn't mean to move the screen out of the way. It's the same here on QQQs, right? Again, the similarity with the movements between the indexes and technology. So the crazy thing about Nvidia was getting knocked down at this 118 level. And again, it's its major resistance, same thing, major support. Above 118, Nvidia becomes bullish, but it still needs to climb above its previous week highs, which is at 124. When it gapped up to the 123 opening previous week and then started to sell off, it actually made it that 124 level. So Nvidia needs to get above 124 to go into a bullish mode. Here's what I feel like will happen going into May earnings on Nvidia. Nvidia will continue this sideways trading until it gets closer to May ER, and then we should see a breakout to the upside. 110 might be retested here on Nvidia. We may see a little lower, or we could see the fake out breakout to the upside to that 124. We could see that actually coming in this week, but I do feel like in order for the indexes to reclaim that, specifically QQQs, which we could see a 20-30 point move here on the QQQs. Again, this is something I actually want to take advantage of, because we actually can see it occurring on SPY. We actually had a 10-point move previous on SPY from the 550 levels back to the 560 levels, and then we had just seen this recently on a QQQ. We just had seen it recently on a QQQ from the 472 level up into the 481 level, closing out the week. So again, I don't feel like the Qs would actually be able to reclaim that 480, 490 level. And I'll show you where I'm getting this 490 from. Again, if you've been following my videos, I've actually been using the same right angle to pretty much chart the Q index. But again, I do feel like Nvidia, the chip sector, which actually is, it's in limbo right now with the Chips Act being questioned. I'm actually going to dig into that on a different video though. Actually might save it for the podcast as well. But Nvidia would be needed um for the QQQ to actually go up into this 490. So I feel like it's going to be a pretty much patiently waiting. And again, this is where you get the headline from that you see on this video. A lot of people feel like this might be an easy move, and I don't feel like it's going to be that easy of a move. I feel like we're going to continue to see some major chops, some major sell-offs, again, to shake people out. Me, I'm looking at long calls only, or taking shares to where I'm literally in the trade low, because again, my previous video, I said I became a secret shopper. I started buying up shares in these companies. They were HOOD, they were UPST, OKLO, DTM. They all did very well the previous week, and I just added CEG to the port, and I'm looking for that to do wonderful, wonderful moves this coming week, March 24th. These bases that has been formed here on the Qs gives me that confidence all around this 470 level, the SPY all around current levels, and the low of 550. I mean, and we constantly started to get higher bases formed here. We have the 552 here, then we have the 560 base that was formed here, and then now we have again above the 560, and then going into closing these gaps that we see right here on the SPY on the left of the screen. And it's the same thing on the Qs. We just need technology to actually pick up some steam, to actually push this further. But until then, if we continue to see the technology sector sell off, we're going to continuously see and should see more upward movements from communication services, because those sectors had the sector has sold off quite a bit. We seen Meta sell off from that 735 740 level down to that 585 level. Same with Goog, selling off back down to that 160 level. And we seen the steam pick up in financials again. HOOD had a wonderful 2 weeks, to be honest. Very steady, very strong upward trend and movement. But again, let me pop out right here on the Qs to actually show you what's happening here. So I go back and forth per video, between SPY and the Qs, but I always like the Qs. I always love charting this up. So everything above this line here that is now highlighted in red, again, this was the overbought zone for sure. This was the extra fluff, okay, on the whipped cream, right? And this is why we seen this double top that end up being formed right here around this 540. And again, it did not go above that, and then it sold down again. I said it was always avoiding this bottom line for some months here. For actually, again, throughout the year past, July, August, it had again stayed away from this lower trend line here. But you see this year in March, beginning of February, mid-February, going into March, we seen this nice drawdown back down to this trend line right here. And again, it broke below the 480 level. Okay, I've been talking about this 480 level a couple times throughout my previous videos, and it broke below this 480 level, and now we have this sideways chop here that I showed you within the 5-minute chart. I'm on a daily right now. This is the fact. So within the 5-minute chart, you've seen all of the chop that's going on in these throughout the days here, mid to end March. So I'm going to actually put a box right here just to add this right here. So again, as long as it's within this range, we know we're still getting a sideways chop. So I'm looking for a break below the 460 to actually debunk my uptrend move back towards this 590 level. And again, we could continue to see, because as the days go on, months go on, that breakout level actually becomes higher, from 590 or 490 to 493 and so on, 496 and so on. So again, we could see a major sideways trend happening here before we actually see another breakout. But again, it's going to depend on the technology sector. The technology sector has been getting hammered. Nvidia specifically has been getting hammered, being kept below the 118 level. It sucks really bad. I've been actually speaking about this. I already put the way I look at the market and what it's doing to Nvidia in my Spotify podcast. I also brought it up. It has its own designated video as well right here on this channel. So again, I'm sitting here putting my money more where my mouth is. Again, looking at this channel right here that is in, creating a brand new pattern. I keep talking about these patterns every time I see them. I actually love them. It gives me more life. I don't like the easy. I actually like putting in the work and actually finding what I find. So again, as long as it's in a sideways trend right here, and it's going to be based off the news. But right now, within the sideways trend, financials, communication services, consumer cyclicals, consumer defense, utilities, we're going to see some great movement here. Those are the sectors that I'll be dealing with. Those are the sectors that I'm going to be paying attention to, while still paying attention to the technology sector. And the only company that I'm very interested in the technology sector would be Nvidia. And again, it's because I feel like it could sell off and it could create a great buying opportunity. So again, keep a lookout for that March 24th. Once the week start, let's see where we end up.